Welcome to FineScale Modeler Weekly, your source for new model kit releases and a lot more. Let's get into this week's show.
We'll start things off with 3 books from Osprey Publishing. Super-Battleships of World War I, The Lost Battleships of the Washington Treaty by Angus Constam, Kriegsmarine Atlantic Command 1939-42, Naval Group West Surface Menace by Lawrence Patterson, and Warship 2025, edited by John Jordan.
Super-Battleships of World War I, The Lost Battleships of the Washington Treaty explores how in 1918, Britain had the world's largest navy, but its fleet was aging and outclassed by newer American and Japanese battleships. A post-war naval arms race between the victors seemed inevitable.
In this book, naval expert Angus Constam examines the cutting-edge battleship designs of 1918 to 1922, shaped by World War I lessons. Britain planned G-3 battlecruisers and M-3 hyper-dreadnoughts, the U.S. developed South Dakotas and Lexingtons, and Japan began building Amagi-class battlecruisers, setting the stage for a new naval arms race.
In 1922, the Washington Naval Treaty ended the costly arms race, halting new battleship construction and capping fleet sizes. Most planned warships were scrapped, though some, like Lexington and Akagi, became aircraft carriers. Featuring new color reconstructions, this is the first book to explore these never-built naval giants.
This 48-page softcover book is richly illustrated, featuring 40 historical photos and 8 pages of full-color artwork by renowned digital artist Adam Tooby, bringing these lost super battleships vividly to life.
Next is Kriegsmarine Atlantic Command 1939-42 Naval Group West Surface Menace, which examines how Germany, despite a chaotic 1930s naval buildup, entered World War II unprepared. Charged with challenging Allied control of the Atlantic Naval Group, West deployed heavy ships and raiders in a risky campaign with limited resources.
In this book, Kriegsmarine expert Lawrence Patterson examines how Naval Group West tackled its mission. He highlights the fleet's role confusion, which made ships like Bismarck poorly suited for raiding, and the reliance on complex supply network and strong signals intelligence. Patterson also explains the shifting Kriegsmarine command, the impact of France's conquest, and the Luftwaffe's failure to effectively scout and protect the fleet.
Featuring stunning artwork by Jim Laurier, along with 3D diagrams, maps, and archive photos, this 80-page softcover book explores Germany's commerce war, from the Graf Spee cruise and Bismarck Dune mission to the daring Channel Dash retreat from Brest.
Last up is Warship 2025, the acclaimed annual publication featuring original research on the design, development, and service history of the world's warships.
For over 45 years, Warship has been the leading annual reference on the design, development, and deployment of the world's combat ships. Featuring in-depth articles by renowned international experts, it offers original research, book reviews, warship notes, image galleries, and more, supported by detailed plans, data tables, and striking photographs.
This 224-page volume, edited by John Jordan, includes features on France's first 300-ton destroyers, Denmark's World War II-era H-class submarines, Italy's proposed battlecruisers, Japan's Chikama-class protected cruisers, Soviet S-class submarines, and the first in a series on Imperial Germany's torpedo boats and destroyers.
If building naval battleships is in your wheelhouse, these 3 books from Osprey Publishing are a must-have. They're packed with accurate details and great historical background to bring your models to life.
Back on January 17th, we looked at Azur-Fromm's 1/72nd scale Bloch MB210 early version, followed by Chuck Davis's review on February 6th. Now we're covering 2 newer variants, focusing on the updated parts in each: the Bloch MB210 at war and Bloch MB210 late.
The at war version includes one key addition over the early kit, a 3D printed upper fin rudder piece that replaces the original, requiring the section to be cut and reassembled.
A decal sheet supplies markings for 3 French bombers: number 194, May 1940, number 104, May 25th, 1940, and number 97, June 1940.
The late version has 2 3D printed parts for the exhaust ring collectors that are exclusive to this kit.
The decal sheet supplies markings for 3 bomber variants: number 8, July-August 1941, number 136, July 20th, 1940, and number 233, November 1942. Last in this week's lineup is a new tool of the 1/48th scale British Challenger II MBT by HobbyBoss.
The Challenger II is a third-generation British main battle tank used by the UK, Oman, and Ukraine. It replaced a Chieftain and Challenger I in UK service with 386 units ordered.
Key features include a new turret, 120mm rifled gun, advanced fire control, thermal imaging, and nuclear, biological, and chemical protection.
We'll start at the bottom with the drive sprocket, idler, return rollers, and road wheels, which get attached to the lower hull.
2 55-gallon external fuel drums, 2 jerry cans, and jerry can basket get attached to the rear deck.
There are 6 segments to each track, which get covered by side skirts and attached to the upper hull.
Once the hull halves are together, we turn our attention to the turret. The commander's hatch, loader's hatch, gun mantlet, 120mm rifled gun, turret bottom, back wall, and machine gun finish off the build.
A decal sheet provides markings for 2 camouflage versions, vehicle serial numbers DS91AA and 61KK92.
HobbyBoss impresses once again with their newly tooled 1/48th scale armor kit, delivering exceptional detail, smart engineering, and crisp molding throughout. Whether you're a seasoned builder or an armor aficionado, this release is a must-have for your workbench.
Look for reviews of the Bloch MB210 at War, Bloch MB210 Late, and British Challenger II MBT at FineScale.com.
And head over to the shoptrains.com store for a great selection of tools, gifts, and books.
FineScale Modeler Weekly is brought to you by Hobby Zone USA, your source for hobby storage solutions, hard-to-find hobby tools, and aftermarket modeling needs.
In another video, I talked about the 12 essential tools that modelers need at their workbench. And it occurred to me upon reflection that I didn't include a ruler or a straight edge in that list of 12 essential tools. And to me, a ruler is pretty darn essential. For me, I have these rulers, and I do have an 18-incher too, but I figured, you know what, this gets the idea across. But I think at the very least, a 6-inch steel ruler is something essential. Steel, because a wooden ruler, if you were running a knife along it, they're too easy for you to cut into. They get banged up really easily too. So a steel ruler with cork back, so that it doesn't slip around, 6 inches. This, I think, is the most basic of rulers that you should have at your workbench. I also have a 12-inch, same sort of idea. And then I said the 18-inch one. I also have a couple of heavier rulers that don't have the backing on it, but they have different markings, metric. They also, 1/32, those sorts of things. So this one's from X-Acto. This one, I don't remember where I got this one from, but it's heavier than the X-Acto one. So actually I use it more when I'm cutting along it with a blade, because it's nice and it's sturdy, it's stiff, and it makes a really nice straight line. The other kind of ruler that you can get is a scale modeler's ruler. This one is from Excel. On one side it has 1/72nd scale and 1/24th scale. Shows you just, how long a foot is in 1/72nd scale or 1/24th scale. On the other side, same sort of idea, except that it's 1/25th scale or 1/35th scale. Now, that said, there's another measuring device that I have, and that is this electronic, or digital, I should say, digital caliper. What's nice about the digital caliper is that you can get really, really accurate results. And you can measure, if we open this up, I'm just gonna, come on. Oh, you know what? It'd be better if I didn't have it locked down. So you can measure both outside dimensions and inside dimensions. And what's useful about this is if you are doing really precise work. If you're doing ship modeling, I think these are absolutely essential. When you're doing scratch building, perhaps you need to know what the inside dimensions of an engine compartment are, because you're going to put a different engine in there and you want it to be accurate. So you want to know what those dimensions are, and then maybe the dimensions of the 3D printed engine that you're going to be putting in there. So this, being able to get the inside dimension of that compartment and being able to be precise and accurate with your work, that makes this tool just invaluable. Sometimes you need to get the proper angle. Most often, it's probably a 90-degree angle. And so a machinist square, a small one, is a very useful item to have at your workbench. In fact, I was just using this to make sure that my bulkheads on a ship were actually square. So yes, this is a useful item to have. Obviously, a larger square like this or triangle like this is useful, not only for the 90 degrees, but this is a 45-degree one. It's plastic. You can get them, with 70 degrees angles or other various angles, but I find that this one is the one that I use the most if I need to utilize it. And then also a protractor. I like this pink one. But I do not get the plastic protractor. I have a metal one. Again, just like with these, it stands up better to use, especially if I'm cutting along it, or it doesn't get banged up as easily, is basically my reasoning behind that. Lastly, I have an architect square at my workbench. Now, I don't use it a lot, but when I do, I typically push my work mat up to the edge of the workbench, slap the square on there, and then make sure that that mat and all of this is all lined up square. And yeah, you know what? This is just another way for me to make sure that if I'm using angles, whether I'm cutting or I'm drawing, that those angles are as precise as possible. And like I say, I don't always use it, and this sucker has been around for a long time, but it is just something that I find useful to have at the workbench. So, what have we learned? I think rulers are something that you should have at the workbench, and I'm sure that most of you probably do. If I was going to highlight the ones that are absolute musts, we're talking about a 6-inch metal ruler with a non-slip backing. And then I really think that a scale ruler is where to go. What a year it has been. So, in this wrap up, the last of the 4th season, I want to take and talk to you about 3 things. I'm going to preface this. This first one is going to be a little bit more serious. The second one that I want to talk to you about is I'm just being a jerk to you. And then the third one is going to be more heartfelt. So first, one of the conversations that has really sort of taken off on the forum concerns losing drive, losing the ambition to build models. The things that have helped me get through those times when I don't necessarily want to get down to the workbench have been looking at it as a sort of just a thing that I just need to do a little bit, because spending even just 15 minutes tidying up the workshop, that can be enough. Going down 15 minutes, doing that and going, okay, I've got everything in place. I'll get back to this tomorrow. Going down and putting just one part onto your model that you're working on, or if you have multiple projects going, just one part on one of those multiple projects, that's better than no parts at all. And it's just a way to get back in. to do a little something with very low pressure. And suddenly you find that you're getting your drive back. You're back to enjoying it and you're doing what you want to do. So that's how that works for me. It's not going to work for everyone, but just keep in mind that one, you give yourself permission to fall out of love or step away and not feel bad about it. Don't recriminate. And two, just doing one thing, one little thing is better than doing nothing at all. I was at Wonderfest. I was talking with a number of different people there, and we got talking about kit collections. And someone mentioned that they had talked to somebody who had like 5,000 or 6,000 kits in their, what I'm going to use with air quotes, stash. If you have 5,000 or 6,000 kits in your stash, you don't have a stash. You have a hobby store, and you should open it up and start selling those kits. Because here's the thing. Kits are unrealized. They are unrealized unless they are built or unless you sell them and get them out of your stash, right? For you, they're just there. And frankly, speculating on what a kit is going to be worth at some point in the future, oh, that's a dangerous game, especially with how companies reissue kits. The kits that are going to actually be worth money are the ones where the tooling is completely lost. It's gone. Now those, may be worth money, but remember, the value of a kit is only what a person is willing to pay for it. And if you have a kit and you think that it is worth $500 and no one's willing to give you that money, what are you going to do with it if it's just going to sit in your collection? It's unrealized. It's unrealized potential for you, and it's unrealized potential for the person who may really want to build it or use it in another build. Because that's something else. It's like, talked to a guy who was like, yeah, they don't want to sell it. They asked me what I'm going to do with it, and so I'm going to use it for a kit bash. They're like, no, because this is a super rare kit, and I'm not going to sell it to you if you're going to use it in a kit bash. It needs to be built as is out of the box. I'm like, really? After you sell it, it's no longer your decision what that kit's used for. Anyway, if you're collecting kits, stop it. Build them. Just one last thing. If you have 6,000 kits in your stash, and let's say you build 300 kits a year, which you don't, neither do I, but let's say you do build 300 kits a year, it's going to take you 20 years to clearance 6,000 kits. Well, now that I've kicked the hornet's nest, in all sincerity, thank you all for sticking with FineScale Modeler, for watching, for subscribing to the YouTube channel, for visiting the website, for joining the forum, and for subscribing to the print magazine. It is our mission to help modelers better enjoy the hobby. And whether that is by doing goofy things and entertaining you, by showing you tools, by sharing techniques and skills that not only do we use, but our contributors use. That is what we're here to do. And we're going to continue to do that going into the future. And it is only with your support that we're able to do that. And the support of our sponsors and our advertisers too. But really, it is with your support that we continue to do that. And it is because of you that we want to continue to do that. So thank you for watching Season 4 of FineScale Modeler Weekly. We're going to continue to release videos on Fridays. We're going back to scale model basics just like we normally do. So those are going to start showing up. So come on in for those. And then after a few weeks, we'll be back with Season 5 of FineScale Modeler Weekly. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Welcome to FineScale Modeler Weekly, your source for new model kit releases and a lot more. Let's get in.
Oh,
Wow, you.
I was really jumping ahead into my line, I guess. Yeah.
Ooh. The Challenger II is a third-generation British main battle.
Now you skipped my line. You jumped right into yours. Now we're even. Oh,
The Hyper
yeah.
Dreadnoughts! All right, sorry, Kendra.
No, you're good.
Yeah. It's just one of those things.
Yeah, it's a Monday, you know. Last time we did it on Tuesday, so we're...
Tim likes rulers and squares.